getting those real life viewpoints from people who are in that profession is important. Do you think if I do this, whatever you have done right now, do you think there is still scope for me when I join the industry 4 to 5 years from now? What's there on the website is just, branding. What you get here from the people who've done it before you, that is the best source of understanding whether that is right for you or not.
Have you ever experienced, if not just career or upskilling or learning something, that this might be too late, and like how you get over that feeling if you have any time?
I think it's never too late to do something, but it'll get difficult and difficult as you grow older. That is the thing. But is it impossible? No. Even today, I'm constantly learning, right? But most people miss out on that. They feel like, okay, if they have done a certain master's degree until 25, they're sorted for life. You will become obsolete in the next 5 to 6 years if you're not constantly upskilling yourself. I think that is a shift which needs to happen. Most people think of education like a phase, right? That is because of the conditioning that we've received from our parents, right? So parents consider it like a milestone, right? You listen to me until you complete your 10th grade with 90%, then I'll let you free. They're just playing with you. They'll do that 3 more times till your 12th grade and then your bachelor's degree, whether in medicine or engineering. Then they feel like, okay, they have done their job, right? So because you've been deceived those 3 times, then it's very difficult for you to trust an education system. The second part of the problem is until you're 20, 21, education is the only thing you're doing. But later on, education, even though it's needed as a lifelong learning process, there are other priorities in life, which is your job, right? Because after that, you cannot just keep learning. You need to make money and learn. And that is a challenge because people don't know how to manage or prioritize their time. So learning and working is something which most people are not able to skillfully master because they're not able to master their time.
Sometimes it happens like everybody has done it already. So it's not late in sense of time, late in sense like everybody is already has crossed the finish line. So do you still should cross the finish line and you might let's do something else because it's already done in as well?
I think that is a very gray area. It depends on industry to industry. For example, right now people are saying software is, programming and software is saturated because everybody is doing that. Right now there is a supply-demand problem. That is why, software developers are so expensive to hire. This used to happen in the banking industry where a lot of banks are opening up branches, but there are not enough people to fill those job roles. So that is why in the 80s and 90s, people who did those banking-related profession, they were, in the top of the hierarchy when it came to, marriage proposals because they were the ones who had the most stable career paths and most amount of money. But now that is saturated because now banks have closed their branches, they have become more digitized. So now there is not much demand for banking employees, so that is saturated. In programming right now, people are thinking, okay, because so many people are doing it, maybe that is also saturated. So I think that question you can solve only by talking to people in those professions, asking them, what do you think is happening in your industry? Do you think if I do this, whatever you have done right now, do you think there is still scope for me when I join the industry 4 to 5 years from now? So getting those real life viewpoints from people who are in that profession is important.
The industry insights.
Industry insight, which people don't do. People don't want to, network and talk to people who are already doing it. They want to rely on, only the career reports or what is there in the curriculum. They look at all of that, or who is teaching this, which is the institute which is teaching this. They're only focusing on that. We do not, give importance to the people who have already done it and talking to them. That is something that I learned when I was researching for my MBA. I was applying to go to US, and there were like 10, 15 colleges to choose from. Now it's very difficult to choose colleges because you're struggling to find out how are they so different. There is a college in New York, there is a college in California. How do I decide? Do I want to be among skyscrapers or do I want to be among the beach, right? So I found it very, very important to reach out to people, Indians who have gone through that journey 3 years back, who are studying over there, people who have studied and graduated and working over there. I reached out to 10 people from each college. Like, let's say there are 4 or 5 colleges in my bucket list. I reached out to 10 people in each college. 4 people sent me a reply, and 2 of them from each college agreed to get on a half-an-hour call with me. So I did those half-an-hour calls with 2 people per college. So almost, I would have had like 20 calls totally with all the alumni of those colleges. And then that was very helpful for me to decide which college I wanted to go to, because then I got real life feedback. Because what's there on the website is just branding. What you get here from the people who've done it before you, that is the best source of understanding whether that is right for you or not.
How to plan the future. in general, like do my research,
Right.
have my foundation, and then make the decision.
Because then you are answerable to yourself. Make yourself responsible for that research by talking to people who have done it before you. Then you get that conviction in yourself that, okay, this is right for me.
True.
I specifically had a question relating to the sector that we function in. When you are thinking of upskilling or when you're thinking of taking a course, you have a lot of reviews, especially about online courses. How do I go about evaluating that? How it is good for me? Bad reviews, are they really bad? Good reviews, are they really that good?
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting question because it comes down to statistics. See, when you look at the top institutes of our country, let's say IMA, IMB, and if let's say the debate between offline versus online. In an offline way of learning, let's say consider an IMA. What is the number of students who go through that journey every year? 500, 600 max? In an online course, there are thousands or if not lakhs who are going through that every year. So it's a volume problem. Let's say the unhappy people in both these buckets is 1%. Now the industry average for refunds and dissatisfaction with this is let's say 1%. In offline, let's say 1% of the people who went to IM A or B or C felt like they did not like it. That's 3-4 people. In an online course, when there are lakhs of people going through, even if the unsatisfaction rate is 0.1%, that is 10,000 people. Now people are very vocal about negative reviews. They will not hold it back. If somebody is unhappy with something, they will go online and pour their heart out. Maybe the course was not a right fit to them because they expected something else. You are never going to hear about the positive reviews, the lakhs of people who actually like that course. If I'm happy with the service, I'm not going to go by myself online and type good about it unless somebody has asked me to. But for a bad review, nobody needs to ask me. I will go and put it out there. So I think that is the problem with relying only on online reviews. So I think the smart thing to do is look at platforms where you can actually talk to the alumni. So for offline courses, the way to do it is through LinkedIn, because then you will get proper unbiased opinions, even from people who liked it and disliked it.
In a corporate setting, you're in a company, you're working with others. So, and even in that setting, standing out is something that is important to further your career. As somebody who's starting out in a corporate job, how would someone like that, someone like me, approach finding their own niche?
Right. So I think the way I would define niche is understanding what career path is closely aligned with your strengths, because that is the career path you will perform the best in. So most people make the mistake of seeing what they think is right for them, and that is defined as passion. They feel like, okay, if everybody had to follow their passion, everybody would want to become Sharan Hedge because that's the glam and all of that. Everybody wants to be famous and rich and get in front of the big screen. That is what if everybody wants to follow their passion. But I think the correct way of doing it is saying what your strength is and connecting that with their job profile. See, even me, what I realized what my strength is, what I thought my strength was 2 years back was, being analytical, crunching numbers, making, good Excel financial models, understanding complicated business models. But I experimented beyond that. And then finally, I moved to content creation. And someone who grew up with me would have never thought that, this guy is going to be making videos on Instagram, though this guy would be camera friendly. Because I was a very, run-of-the-mill nerd who used to never participate in any extracurriculars. So for someone like that to now be making comedy skits on finance on Instagram and getting millions of views was something which most people still cannot digest. I think my biggest strength is creativity, making complicated stuff in an easy manner, putting some comedy and fun, acting it out, and then educating all Indians around India. How did I do it? By experimenting with multiple stuff from different points in time. That's the only way you are going to figure it out. So number one, don't confuse your passion to be something your niche. Number two, keep experimenting with different stuff. Don't just rely on your past to know what your strength is, because maybe you did not tap into certain skill sets which you did not even know existed. You will know that it exists only after you try your hand at it.
Feedback is also an important element in anybody's work life and their career.
Right.
What or who has been the source of your feedback, and has it changed as your career path has changed and evolved?
Yeah, so when I was in a 9-to-5 corporate job, I made it a point after every project or every few months, I used to walk up to my seniors and subordinates and ask them, how can I be better? How was my work in this previous project? Where did I falter? What kind of feedback can you give me to become better? I used to make it a point after every single project, and that was definitely a game changer for me. Very few people do that. The best managers out there will give you feedback without you asking for them. But these are the top 5% of the managers who make it an effort to fix and schedule time with you to tell you how you have performed this particular week or in this project and tell you where you can improve. Most people think that if seniors are not are telling them anything, they're doing a very good job. But most of the time what happens is managers don't make a conscious effort to tell you that this is where you can improve. It's there in the back of their mind, but they never get the time or the motivation to tell you that this is where you can improve. And this is most of the times. So that is why it's very important for every person who is just starting out in their career path to book time with their seniors and tell them and ask them point blank, where did I screw up? Please tell me where I can improve. And that is it. That is all you need to do to get the perfect kind of feedback.
Yeah, I think those are all my questions. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
This was quite insightful.